Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. So if you think that come January 20th, if President Trump is no longer president, that all this attack from the left directed at the right, at conservatives, is just going to come to an end and we're all just going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya as we learn to heal in unity, I'm afraid you're mistaken. I've noticed since the big Capitol fiasco, some people online, not just politicians, because certainly them, but we all know that most of them are spineless, but certain personalities online that's always kind of been conservative, or at least came across as being conservative, has kind of changed their tone and come out publicly condemning the actions at the Capitol and what the president said, and is started even to take the line that, well, maybe Trump does need to just step down. Maybe it's just his time is done and, he served his purpose and we just need to move on and embrace the new president and work towards unity and try again in 4 years. I think personally that these guys and gals are doing this online just to, they're turncoats. They're trying to keep from getting deleted. They're trying to, hoping that if they say these things, that maybe the left won't attack them. That maybe it'll just be directed at Trump and his supporters, and they'll leave us conservatives alone. That kind of distance ourselves from him. Folks, this isn't about the president any longer. There's one thing, and I have disagreed with President Trump on many things, and I've not been just this blinded supporter of him. If he's done something wrong, I've pointed it out. But one thing that I believe is correct about him, that through his entire presidency, the hatred, the Trump derangement syndrome, wasn't just directed at him. It was at us. And folks like us, folks that want traditional conservative values. It was just easier to attack him. And the reality is, if you look at, his voting record not his voting record, but his record in the past, he's not always been really that conservative. But he kind of took that banner of leadership, and it was kind of assumed for a long time that all of this attack on him was just him personally. But folks, it's not just about him personally. To kind of back this up, today, Facebook has locked Dr. Ron Paul out of his Dr. Ron Paul's Facebook page. They're citing that his Facebook page does no longer conform to the community standards, even though, according to Ron Paul himself, their page has never gotten any kind of strikes against them. We're seeing this with other websites. AR15.com, a gun community board, has been completely removed from the internet now. Their hosting company, GoDaddy.com, has, cut them loose. And so they're trying to find a new service provider, much like Parler. And Parler, even though that... Well, Trump never was on Parler, but even though a lot of his supporters was on there was no reason to cut Parler like they did. But because it's not just about the president, it's about conservative, traditional, nationalist ideas that completely go against everything that the far left, the globalist movement, the Great Reset, wants to continue on and to push forward and to shove down everyone's throats. This Great Reset, I don't know if I have any other way to prove it, but what you're seeing is exactly that. I'm not saying so much that everything we've seen over the last few days has been orchestrated to move us further down the road of the Great Reset, but I assure you that they are definitely taking advantage of the opportunity. This complete takeover by the tech companies. And the tech companies has been a big key player in the Great Reset. I've talked about that before. And here we are seeing them trying to establish their dominance their dominance not just in their market, but their dominance also in a political arena. That they have the capacity and the control to dominate you and I. With all that's going on in the world today, having a good VPN service is more important now than ever. The problem is that not all VPNs are the same. While some boast pretty decent quality, the companies that run them sometimes aren't really the most reputable. Viper VPN is based out of Switzerland, which has the best security and privacy laws in the world. They offer an excellent service that's rated in the top 5 in the nation, and they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. One account can be used on up to 30 different devices. They have an app that is super easy to use. Even the most novice user can figure out how it works, and it's a really fast service. It's the VPN that me and my family use here at the Homestead, and I wanted to share this with you and encourage you to at least get a VPN. And if you're unsure of which one to get, I would encourage you to check out Viper VPN. I'll leave a link in the description below. Because I feel that this is one that I can get my name behind and pass it on to you. And they offer some really good savings right now to help keep your internet presence, well, protected and private, because no one needs to know what you're doing online. That's your business and your business alone. Viper VPN, check them out. They are a pretty good service. The things that are happening right now are, I think personally, are a little bit scarier than most people really realize. I think most people, they're just a little shocked. This is crazy. Why is all this stuff going on? But they don't really, I don't think they're taking the time to sit back and say, this has some pretty dangerous repercussions. And that's just from the tech companies. If in fact Joe Biden becomes president, the Democrat Party has already announced some of the bills that they're going to try to get through in reference to gun legislation. Joe Biden announced the other day that he plans to take down the NRA. Do you think he really cares about the NRA? I mean, the NRA has done a lot of good in the past when it comes to the Second Amendment. But to be honest with you, the NRA has really lost a lot of its guts. It's really lost its spine. And I personally am not a member any longer because of that. And I think most of you, or at least a lot of you, know what I'm talking about and might even agree with me. So why the NRA? It's not so much the NRA. He doesn't care about the NRA. He knows that that they could, completely ignore the NRA. That the NRA is starting to lose its control and its dominance in the Second Amendment arena. It's about the guns. He knows if he can say that he's destroyed the NRA and pulled it apart and taken it down, then he can come after us. So I'm not saying go out and jump in and join the NRA. What I'm saying is sometimes you have to read between the lines with these guys. This is all part, again, of this great reset. I know a lot of you probably want me to talk about all of the stuff going on with the president. I'm getting a lot of messages from you. I'm not sure if I even want to touch on it, at least not yet. And if I do, it probably won't be here on YouTube because I assure you the things that I would have to say will be completely removed. So if I do that, I will make an announcement that I'll put it over on probably BitChute. It's kind of a wait and see there. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. And I know there's a lot of things going around that this has happened or this has been signed or this is already in motion. We have to be careful because there's not really a lot of evidence that this stuff is happening. We're just taking it on someone's word that they posted it online or put it in a video. I'm not saying it's not happening. We have to be careful because, as we've said before, there are psychological operations being played on both sides. I firmly believe that they are being played on both sides, so we have to be careful of that. The best thing that we can do, I feel, is to not put all our faith and hope in one person or one group of people to fix this. Because the fact is that even if the president does have a plan that is different from what everyone else believes is happening, he himself does not have the capability or the power to save us all. We have to do that ourselves. we have to be ready to take a stand when it's the time, when it's necessary. And that stand may be in a physical means, alongside elbow to elbow with other patriots like yourself, and that stand may also just be in your home when it's time to pull the plug on the internet, pull the plug on modern civilization, or whatever it is. This truly, I believe, is a war. Right now, not so much a hot war of violence. It could come to that, and there's more and more talk about that. But it's certainly a civil war of ideology, more so than it's ever been before. They are trying to destroy everything that we've ever known to be pure and true in this nation. There's been stories coming out since the Capitol thing that family members have been turning in family members. I mean, this is right out of Orwell's 1984. It's also right out of the Bible. This is their plan. I've said before, they want to destroy the family. They want to destroy morality. They want to destroy this idea that there is definite right and definite wrong in society. This stuff that's happening, that you're hearing about online, that you're hearing about in the news, this isn't just about one person. It's not because they hate one guy. It's not about one particular party or another. And it's not just about ending certain people's rights or internet privileges online. This is about something a lot bigger than all that. This is about global domination. This is about the spread of their evil ideas. And I know that even just using the word evil almost sounds elementary, but it really is true. The philosophy that these people have, I truly believe, is just pure evil. They don't care about the little man. You know, they all talk about their socialistic ideas and how we've got to all be equal and no one starve and no one poor, and it's unfair to be rich, so we all just need to be equal. They want to talk about racial equality and gender equality and all this kind of stuff. The fact is they don't care about us. They only care about their power and their wealth. And they know that this globalist, socialist, communist kumbaya is the best way for them to establish the most wealth and the most dominance on this planet. Because it really does set them far above us if that's the path that we go. And again, I've said this before too. I think the reason why we're seeing so much happening in the United States is because they know that we are the last battleground, that we are the dam holding back this great reset on this planet. There's a lot of nations that are against it. There's a lot of world leaders that are against it. Most of them are small. Most of them are not capable of really standing up against it and putting up a true fight. And these globalist leaders, they know that the United States is the last stand. And they made it pretty clear all year, all last year, that they were going to push through with this agenda. They've made it pretty clear for the last few decades. The only problem is that the people on our side have just been blinded. They didn't want to believe it. They wanted to believe that, well, no matter what they do, America will continue to go on. It's not going to get that bad. Oh my goodness, we have a constitution to keep from being that way. Well, there's too many good old boys with guns to keep that from happening. And on and on and on. While we continued to sit silent and allowed them to completely take over this nation. And that's the biggest problem. Before I get off of here, today in this video, yesterday we went to a birthday party. It was our first and only grandchild. She turned 1 year old. And so we went to her birthday party. It was the first time that we had gone into a bigger city during all of this health crisis. It was the first time we were required by any sort of law or ordinance to actually wear something on our face. Not that that really has any point to what I'm about to say, but I just noticed as I looked around, not really notice anything, but I wondered. That's what it was. I wondered how many of these people, if it just was thrust upon us, this reality that there really is this global takeover of our country and our way of life, how many of them would stand up against it? Well, even out here in the country, I think that. I look around and I think, how many of them? I mean, these are good old boys, farmers, gun owners. I mean, half the people out here are carrying guns or more openly because it's legal out here. How many of them would really take a stand? I don't know. I would like to think it's more than what would actually, that would be enough, maybe. I think the problem is that most of us expect it to all come at once. They expect it to be like some Hollywood movie. We just wake up one day and the attack is at our doorstep. The left knows that it doesn't work that way. They know that's the best way to get us on our feet to fight. And so they're going to drag this out as long as they can. I mean, they have increased their speed. They've increased their activities, surely. But they're still going to try to drag this out as long as they can, little bits at a time, because they don't want us to all wake up at the same time. So, folks, keep your powder dry. Try to wake up as many people around you as you can. This isn't just about the president. This isn't just about getting him out of office. I mean, if that were so, and everything that we're hearing about the whispers online are all fake, well then why is there such this, overt effort to shut him up and get him out of the White House when he's going to be out of the White House in a little over a week anyways? I think it's pretty obvious that this is not just about him. This is about us. It's about our way of life. It's about our freedom. It's about us being what we have always meant to be. Maybe for once in this nation's history, we have the opportunity to rise up and to finally be what our founders and what the people that have bled and died for the last 2 centuries hoped that this nation was and could be. And maybe it's our time to actually stand up and do that. And to show this world that we may be definitely blemished. We are far from without being spotless. But we are not going to lie down and take this evil, communist, globalist philosophy any longer. We're not going to take it. We're not going to allow it to happen. I hope that there are enough of us, there are enough people that just will not allow it to happen. Don't allow it in your home. Censor as much as you can. Be careful of what your children are watching and listening to. I'm telling you, even just simple TV shows and music is filled with it. Get your children out of public schools if you can at all possible. I mean, you may have to make some massive sacrifices, but do it. Get your home ready. Get your souls ready. Get your mind ready. Because they've already started the fight. It's not if, it's now. They're happening. It's going on. And we're the ones that's still sitting around hoping that this will all turn out okay. Well, it's not, because they've already started the battle. And it's time we traditional, patriotic, conservative, God-fearing people wake up and take the fight to them. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.